In today's video, we are talking all about what a mortgage advisor does on a day-to-day basis, because it's definitely changed as a result of COVID and Corona. Before I get into it, make sure that you please do like and subscribe to the channel. Make sure that you hit me up with any comments or questions that you have after watching any or all of the videos. So I love replying to your comments and engaging with you in those as well. I'm here to serve you and provide you with the most amount of value I can in and around mortgages, insurance, building your mortgage business, creating more wealth, achieving more mentally, physically and financially, so you can build that more successful business that gives you the chance to do more of what you love with who you love. So what does a mortgage advisor do is the title of this one. And it hasn't changed since 2003 when I very first joined the industry. You know, the simple one is we're here to facilitate and to help clients and customers buy and invest in property. That's what we do in my brokerage. We help self-employed people specifically to buy and invest in property, but we're here to take the pain away for our clients. We're here to make life easier. We're here to get them from A to B with the least amount of frustration, friction, anxiety and worry, whilst running up and down the high street, finding the best deal and the best opportunity, managing the entire process from the solicitor, the estate agent, the mortgage application, making sure that on that day of completion, they're able to collect their keys. We generally hold the whole thing together, which many solicitors and estate agents might disagree with, but my clients would tell me differently the amount that they phone us to find out what's going on. So in a day-to-day sense, what does a mortgage advisor do? Well, first things first, you've got to have leads to manage. You need to have somebody to speak to, a customer or her client who wants to engage with you. So the first thing is about marketing. Now you need to be marketing yourself, whether it's going to be looking for multiple streams of leads, looking for referrals, recommendations, social media, Facebook groups, video, audio, written, however you've got to do it. You must be marketing yourself on a day-to-day basis to be able to attract leads, clients and sales into your business. So a big proportion of what you need to be doing is marketing. Making sure that you're always bringing new people to you, especially if you want to build a business, especially if you want to have advisors and a team who do most of the work for you, like in my brokerage. So marketing is something that I also see a lot of advisors start with. They get busy. What's the first thing that happens when they get busy? They stop the thing that made them busy, which is the marketing, the lead generation. So once you've got your leads coming in, what do you then do? Well, you need to have a robust sales process, one that takes your client through the journey that enables you to give consistency in your customer service, making sure that you've got as much automation in place as physically possible to save you having to do the heavy lifting. Because if you don't know where your customer is in the sales process, if you can't track the conversations that you're having, if you haven't got a diary management tool that tells you what you need to be doing on each individual particular day, then you're going to feel trapped, you're going to feel stuck, you're going to feel lost. So speed, efficiency and automation as a mortgage advisor is absolutely vital to you getting more results for your clients. Now, in a day-to-day sense, let's break down the process. You're going to have to speak to your new inquiries and have a conversation with those. Now, depending on how good you are, how experienced you are, will determine whether that's a 5 to 10 minute phone conversation, a 30-minute conversation, or potentially anything up to a full fact find and an hour-long conversation. We in my business, we do what's called a strategy call, which is generally 30 minutes with the clients to understand where they are versus where they want to be. We're all extremely experienced and able to have those type of conversations that make our customers and our clients feel at ease before we then go to phase 2, which is about getting documentation. None of my advisors will give a quotation, an illustration, do any form of research without the documentation on file, particularly in the COVID and Corona world that absolutely collapsed so many different industries and so many different things and brought about new changes that lenders didn't even know how to manage, with the likes of furlough, the stamp duty scheme. All of these things took a big impact on up to 400 criteria changes in a 2-day period. That's where you need to have sourcing systems to make life easier, which I'll come on to. So strategy call leads into awaiting documents, where you'll get all the documentation from the client: proof of income, proof of address, proof of ID, credit report, all of those elements that enable you then to fully complete a fact find with your client. And a fact find is a data capture sheet that enables you to give advice to your client. Now, when I do a fact find, I actually am looking at it from a opportunity point of view of what additional things can we help them with? What do they need based on their circumstances? Which is going to be things like life insurance, critical illness, income protection, solicitor, home buyer survey, full structural survey, a will, health insurance, and making sure that actually I'm looking at the person rather than just the individual transaction. Because it's about saying, this is who you are, this is where you are, this is the help that you need, and this is the products that are going to best suit you based on your current circumstances. That's why I do the fact find properly, to make sure that I can give the best advice to them in their circumstances right now, rather than just thinking transactionally they need a mortgage to buy X value house. Once you've then got all your documentation in, you are able to assist them with making sure that they get the best possible mortgage, which involves research, involves using third-party tools like 27 Tech, like Criteria Hub, like Knowledge Bank, that will enable you to research all the different lenders and all the different options that are available for your client to give them the best possible advice. Once you've completed your research, you can provide them with an illustration to make sure they know exactly what they are purchasing, all the costs, all the fees, all the monthly payments, all the T's and C's, all detailed in that illustration. And I would recommend you call it an illustration rather than a quotation, because a quotation generally leads you to think, I need to go and get one elsewhere, where an illustration is hard work's been put into producing this. If the client is then happy to go ahead, and let's assume that they've got their property, you can then submit the agreement in principle, which is taking all the data that you have collated from the documents and from the fact find and putting it into the lender's system. At which point the lender is then going to be able to give you a yes or a no. And providing you've done your research properly, you've spoken to the business development manager, you've chatted to the criteria team at the lender, you should hopefully get a yes. And if they found their home, you then key and submit the full application to the mortgage lender. And then the mortgage lender will do their underwriting, they'll do their assessment. They want you to provide everything and the kitchen sink for them to review and assess to say, yes, Gary, you have done a good job and we are going to accept this mortgage. They will go out and value the property to make sure that it's valued at the price that the client is buying it for. And providing that's all made to sound really easy, which is much harder than it sounds, and it can take weeks, in some cases months, depending on the complexity of the deal. There'll be loads of little nuances that are needed depending on the criteria and the client's individual circumstances. You will get your mortgage offer to be able to give to your client. And then it's all over to the solicitor, where they will then be doing all the paperwork, they'll be doing all the searches, and they'll be moving it on to exchange and to completion. And that process has never ever changed from 2003 when I joined the industry. It's a lot of paperwork, it's a lot of research, it's a lot of keeping track of your clients in terms of the sales journey, where they're at. It's having OCD for making sure that you're right and that you're giving the best advice, because compliance is harder than it ever has been. Adhering to the rules and the regulations, making sure that you're dotting every I and double crossing every T is vital, because it's all about avoiding a complaint that you may well get in the future, especially if you're recommending insurance, making sure that they're getting the best possible insurer for their circumstances, as well as then providing all the suitability letter, which tells them why you've given them the advice that you have, the demands and needs letter, if it's around insurance, to make sure that this is your demands, here is your needs, this is the product I've sold you to fulfill those. And then passing out any referrals to pensions, investments, will writers, unless you will manage it all in-house. The process hasn't realistically changed. The satisfaction from the job is still exactly the same. Criteria is constantly changing and makes it a hell of a lot harder. There is way more paperwork now involved in the job than there was pre-2009 when we had the economic crisis and the credit crunch. But hey ho, it's the world we live in. If you love paperwork, if you love data, if you love detail, if you love getting knee deep in tricky scenarios to find the best possible solution, sitting on hold, remembering all the different criteria, then you're going to absolutely love being a mortgage advisor. It is a fantastically rewarding job. It can pay extremely well when you get very, very good at it. There are just too many advisors out there who focus their attention in the wrong areas. Sometimes it's better to be employed and earn more money than it is to have your name above a door. Sometimes it's better to work for a firm underneath a really established brand than trying to build your own brand. Sometimes it's better to focus on doing the best thing for the client and being fed leads, administration support, management, coaching, help, because as a result, you'll do better for your clients, you'll make more money as a result, and you'll live a better life. Hope this has inspired you. Hope you've enjoyed this video about what a mortgage advisor does. Make sure that you go and like and subscribe to the channel, and that you keep coming back and checking out all the other videos, because we've got hundreds on this channel for you to understand more about mortgage, insurance, and being an IFA, building a more fun and profitable lifestyle business. Thanks very much indeed for tuning in, and I'll see you on the next one.